Hi everyone, I'm going back to some Pokemon videos, and this time I want to show some cool Pokemon that I believe needed to be a bit stronger because everyone likes to use cool Pokemon on their playthroughs, so having the cool ones be a bit stronger is always nice. So I'm going to start with Ninetales. It's a bit odd, this one, because on the first generation of Pokemon and the second as well, it was a counterpart of Arcanine while always being weaker. On the first generation it's only 30 points weaker, while on the modern ones it's 50 points weaker. So it's much weaker than Arcanine. As you can see, it has max special attack and it's only to 81 because its past special attack is only 81. And since it has 505 BST, I'll just give it 20 to its special attack. The same gets applied to the alone version, and it's fine. The abilities are perfect. The move pool is okay. Maybe if you wanna go a bit cheeky, we can always give a nice type move to this one and a fire type move to the other one. That might be going a bit too far. I mean, any tool that to be like weak move, like Incinerate and Aurora Beam, something like that. Nothing too overpowered. But yes, that's something that Ninetales really needs because it's such a beautiful Pokemon that a lot of people enjoy its designs and it has cool shinies. While the lone version is much better, it still lacks a little bit in damage output. Even with 20 extra special attack, it still wouldn't be nothing amazing when damage comes, but it'll be fine. Now, Kabutops. I really love this guy. I mean, obviously, the first addition that we'll be getting is obviously a new ability. We'll obviously want to keep this one. Slipstream is amazing on Kabutops. Just change one of the others. I think Battle Armor will make more sense because how does it have Battle Armor and Weak Armor? So just take that one and give it Sharpness. Obviously Sharpness, and it also needs a small stat boost because it's not even 500. So maybe give it 30 overall, so it gets to 525 would be enough. Like 20 HP and then maybe 5 speed and 5 special defense. So it's actually a very strong one with sharpness, 115 attack with sharpness. You see, I mean, giving it Aqua Cutter. I don't think liquidation applies that buff, so giving it Aqua Cutter. The problem is the rock move. I mean, they can always make a mid-ground rock move to apply that if they want. And Night Slash is always a fine move, not like this has much more coverage. Maybe give it Stomping Tantrum or something like that, and it'll be fine. It's a good Pokemon. It just needs a little push here and there for it to be very good. Now, this is one of my favorite mons of Gen 1, Aerodactyl. It does have a Mega, and it did get Dragon Dance. Now, two obvious buffs to it will be to give it Edge Smash and Brave Bird. I mean, they're obvious. Once again, mid-ground rock move physical is always nice. I would also buff, like I said on the previous video, Aerial Ace to 80 base power because the never misses part doesn't cover for the lack of power. So with 80 and never missing, people would actually want this move for its utility, especially on the battle spot and stuff like that. It's also could benefit from a little bit of stat increase because it's clear to be one of the strongest fossils and it's only 20 extra than the Kabutops. So if I buff Kabutops, I think I should also give a small buff to Aerodactyl, 20 as well, like 5 attack and 5 defense and 10 special defense. It's not nothing huge because stat-wise it's okay, but with this small buff it gets some okay bulk and some an actual attack stat. Even 110 is not huge, but with Dragon Dance and this speed and then the Mega buffs, so even the Mega gets 140 attack with this, so it's not exaggerated, like a lot of other mons. So those little touches here and there are more than enough for it to make it great. Now, Octillery. I mean, I really like this design because I know they wanted to base it on some kind of tank. It to me just more of a turret. It's there just laying on the ground shooting stuff while looking like an octopus. So I really do enjoy the design. It's the stats and even the ability that are kind of lackluster to it. I mean, they make sense. Suction Cup Sniper and Mobility make sense, but first of all, it needs stat increase and different distribution. It's only 480 by AST. Look at this. I mean, it's modest. It's only 105 special attack and modest. I think don't really look at these stats. This is a modded game, so they might actually have buffed it because this is too much for 105 modest. It should be around 340 or something. So ignore that part because it's not vanilla Pokemon Y. So please ignore because this is actually very good. Just give it 20. Like take 20 attack, put 20 on special attack, and then give it 20 HP and 10 extra on defenses. So it gets 95 HP, 85 defense, 85 special defense, 125 attack, and 45 speed. Maybe reduce 15 speed and give it 5 HP, 5 on each defense, so it gets 30, and it becomes a trick room turret. Can give it stuff like muddy water, flamethrower, ice beam. Can give it analytic if you want, because it's a turret, it's analyzing, but that doesn't really help it on trick room teams. So having that and sniper can kind of work. Maybe give it a better unique move. Some small touches for this Pokemon to actually do something because I really like its design and what it represents. So I'd like to see it more because its move pool is perfect. Then it's Houndoom. I really love this design. I don't understand how they make a 500 BST mon and they just put everything over the place. So I'll just increase it to 520. Give it 15 to its speed and 5 to its special attack, and then split up the attack and defense, make them both being base 70. It's still nothing special, but at least it's a amount that many people like to use. Maybe give it the grass knot or something like that, so it can have some extra coverage, and then the mega just goes a bit wilder, because now it has like 135 speed or something like that, or 130 speed, and 145 special attack, which makes sense because it's killing itself with solar power, so it balances out. Now another one is Explode. It has Hyper Voice. I meant to put Boomburst, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. This Pokemon suffers a lot from being a Gen 3 mon because its offenses are split up because it's a normal type. So they want to make it able to do anything, but now we don't need that. We can just make it a special attacker because everything about it screams special attacker, literally. So obviously I will heavily nerf its attack. I'll kind of swap its attack with its speed, make it save 68 attack, but then I reduce its speed to 85 because I think this should have a special speed of a wall breaker, which is on the 80s. So 85 it makes sense, and give those extra 6 to its HP, so it gets 110 HP, 68 attack. And it's still weak because it is 490 BST, and it's still a bit weak. So let's give it 20 special attack, base 510, and then 10 extra on each defenses, 530. It is a Pokemon that evolves on on 30s, so make it around the same power level as a starter isn't broken. It's not like you can get this Pokemon super early in the game. It evolves actually level 40, so yeah, that makes sense. So it's bulky, not super bulky, but bulky enough, with a decent special attack and a good speed. Now, the only other change that I could see someone want to add to it is to add Punk Rock as an ability. But other than that, it doesn't need that much because Scrappy Boom Burst would be its main selling point with 110 special attack, which I think it's around what he has on this modded version, as you can see. So yeah, it's a cool mod that could get some cool buffs. Now Hunchcrow is very cool, but they never really gave this guy much, you know. In fact, they take out off from this guy. It has a very, very weird stat distribution. 100 HP and 50 defenses, while only having 71 speed and 105 special attack for some reason. I mean, come on, just give something to the bird, you know. Give it 20 extra stats, make it 85 defense, speed, I mean, so that we can actually go. And if you don't want to make it a special physical attacker, if you want to go back, you can just swap it around. But no, I think it should be a physical attacker because it has Moxie. I don't see any real need to change its abilities, at least not yet. It does lack a bit on the dark coverage, so maybe we could work something out with the new moves. Because none of the current moves really fit on Scroll, and this does work with the Super Luck. So yeah, they need to remove some special attack, make it 75. I have some defenses, increase its speed to the 80s, and increase its move pool a little bit. You know, make it powerful. Maybe increase its attack to 125. This is a very odd amount to touch because it's just all over the place. It has a very cool design, and then everything else is all over the place, and it's sad. It's sad because it looks so cool. Now this little guy, I really love seeing flopping around. You know, floppy, 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 floppy. I just love it. I mean, just like a Zubat, I love it. It's flapping its wings desperately. So this Pokemon, it has a huge BST 567. While huge, it's not massive. You know, like for example, Slacking and Palafin. So having an ability like this isn't really that necessary. You know what I mean? It's not like it's super bulky. It's not like it's super fast. It does it very hard, and it's still weaker than the Paradox Mons. So giving it a more neutral ability, because I look at it, I can see giving something like Limber, for example. While Limber, it's okay. It's an okay ability. It gives immunity to paralyzing, so it's nothing that special, you know. Just a decent mid-ground ability for it to be able to use its stats while having some small extra benefit. Now with the aerial ace buff that I already stated, can be a pretty decent mixed attacker because while its BSE is high, it's divided in its attacking stats, so it's not bulky like at all. Look at this, 291, 160, 167. I mean, a single attack always puts it on defeatist, unless it's a super weak attack that is resisted. Other than that, it always goes to defeatist, so give it Limber, or some ability similar to that, to keep it on the game. It's such a cool little mount that I could really want to see it run more. Now, Noivern. Man, I mean, it's so cool, such a cool Pokemon. It's so sad that they kind of slipped the ball on this one because just a few perfectly executed changes and this Pokemon could be very amazing. First off, I'll remove 5 attack to its special attack. Give it base. I actually made it jolly, doesn't matter. So it actually has base 102 special attack. It's not huge, you know, but it's something. Then I'll swap Frisk because Frisk nowadays isn't that great of an ability, especially on VGC because you can just see what your opponent does from the get-go. So there's not much point on providing it with Frisk. So give it Punk Rock once again. Now you can say, yeah, but Punk Rock what? Just got Bomb Burst. True, true. That's why I will give it a move from a certain Pokemon. That there's a certain Pokemon, a certain Dragon type that now has 2 exclusive moves, so I'll give it Clanging Scales. It's a sound move that is 110 special attack that lowers the user's defense. Overall, it's a rather good move that would really benefit Noivern. With Punk Rock, it's stronger than Draco Meteor, or at least around the same level. Now, it's still missing one important factor, the Noivern right now, which is another stab. Obviously, from the get-go, you don't think, yeah, but Air Slash, Hurricane, I mean, they aren't that great of moves, you know. Yeah, but there is a move that I would like to buff. The move is called Shatter. increased its BP to 80. It's still not a super broken move, especially because now. Oh wait, it actually always confuses the opponent. So yeah, I'll buff its power, but reduce the effect to maybe 10 or 20%. 10% is enough because let's be real, no one wants to use Shatot, and a Pokemon with these big knockers can easily benefit from it much more than that. And maybe they can give it to some other Pokemon like Toxicity and stuff, you know. And the last one, but not least, is Golisopod. I really like Golisopod's design. It's one of my favorite designs from Gen 7, and I'm very sad about this emergency exit. It just makes me super sad. Now this Pokemon reminds me of Gyarados and Milotic, which is a very weak and pathetic Pokemon at first. On the case of Eevee, it's not pathetic, it's just ugly, and then becomes a beast. However, it's slightly weaker, so might give it 10 extra points to the attack stat, to HP stat, I mean. But now, the most important part is the ability. Because even if I keep it at 530 instead of make it 540 like Gyarados, it's still fine. But the ability. Now, I can be unoriginal and give it a hidden ability in Tough Claws, which look at this claws, makes perfect sense. However, I think we should rework Emergency Exit. We could make it a super good ability, because being exactly the same as Wimp Out, it's lame. Lame and pathetic, doesn't make any sense. Now, you could make this Pokemon super good by simply making Emergency Exit work like this. At the end of every turn, you can choose which Pokemon of your party stays on Golisopod slot. Now, on doubles, you can you can even swap places, be a funny interaction just for the lols, because at the end of the turn doesn't matter unless I mean it actually does matter. Wait, depends on how it will interact with stuff like Feature Sight and Doom Desire. They could make it funny, like you can just swap it around to avoid or get those moves. It'll be pretty funny. Like at the end, after everyone attacks, you just swap Golisopod with Incineroar, and they are side by side on the other line. Or you can switch it out and put your Groundon in, for example. And then you come back with the Golisopod later on, and you can first impression again. You know, with that way, Golisopod can pretty much take advantage of its full moveset, which is always good. First impression, leash life, liquidation, knockoff. Doesn't it get close combat now? I think it does, doesn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn it thing got close combat now. It only has like Break, which, let me see, Gen 8. This is Gen 8, right? Yeah, it's Sword and Shield. Doesn't that nobody uses? Ah, there it is. Close combat has Duplicate Registeel, Lucario. Yeah, it has a very good move pool. While not super deep, it's just good enough because it has knockoff, it has Sucker Punch, Liquidation and Aqua Jet, Leash Life First Impression, and Spikes. Not that the VGC players would care. As well as Close Combat and Break. So with this everything combined and that, it makes a rather cool Pokemon to have, and many people really like to use it. I hope you enjoy it, and you can give me your thoughts over all these Pokemon down below. Thank you for watching.